Hey people, how's it going? Welcome. Welcome to another afternoon hanging out with me. Yeah, we're going to be doing Dark Elf. I decided I want to do the dragon design on his chest. I want to do on his base as well. So, yep. We're going to replicate the freehand of the the dragon on his chest on the base in the color. Probably his hair actually has a lot of kind of teal to indigo in it. So I think I'm going to use that color specifically, except go light on the base. So let's go down to our cam. There we go. So I essentially decided, I originally had him on just a plain, it was a wooden base, and it still is obviously, but I decided I needed it to be black. So I'm going to do a sealer coat over this. Oh, thank you, Shadow Raven. Thank you for the sub. Awesome. Hey guys, I figured it out. We only need, and now we need 6 more subs, I think, to unlock a new emote. So when I looked at my Twitch dashboard before the stream, I think it said 7 more. I think we're at 28 out of 35. So now we're at 29 out of 35. So hopefully we'll get some new people in this afternoon and we can get working toward that goal. So it's not many subs at all. I'm really happy. Yeah, we're going to do freehand. So what I need to do is pick my color first. So I was using some black indigo and I was also using some teal for this model. The teal is actually, this is unlabeled because it was kind of an oops, but it's tire rubber, I think, from Secret Weapon, which we bake their paint, but it's a matte version because we oopsed it and I put matte in it and I got it mixed up. So yeah, so that's actually what the dragon tattoo I think is built with is that. But yeah, you're helping. Yes, you're helping. Yes. Yeah, so I'm not going to do, I'm going to do the dragon, and I want to do it in an opposite direction, actually. I want to do it facing the opposite way. So I decided I'm going to probably put this bust up for sale for my patrons. So I wanted to finish out the base nicely. So I'm going to do the dragon head on the base like it is up there, and then I'll sign it on the back and, put Hero Models, Dark Elf Bust, and I'll seal the base nicely. So that is what I'm planning to do. So I thought, yeah, let's do that today. I need a cushion of some sort behind his head, though, because I don't want him to be sad. So I'm going to get just a little bit of a Kleenex to kind of rest him against. He gets a pillow. Dark Elf gets a pillow. There, and there now we can see the base. So, shall I go pale teal or pale indigo with the base? I'm thinking the teal. I'm feeling the teal. Let's do it. Let's make a pale version of this teal. So I'm going to put really just 1 drop, maybe 2, and then put pure white in. Well, okay, if I can get my pokey tool and get this color to actually work. Thank you, evil teal thing. But yeah, the tire and rubber colors from Secret Weapon are really dark teals. The other thing that would be similar to this, although not quite as teal, would be like coal black from the holiday paint set from Reaper. This is kind of a nice grayed out teal color, the tire rubber. You made it, Rax. Awesome. Super fantastic. Yeah, I was just saying that we're going to be doing some freehand. I'm going to try to replicate the dragon on his chest and do it on the front of the base here. So it's like his emblem. The emblem of his Dark Elf house. So let's get some white in there. So I used 2 drops of the tire. Oh, my white is getting really low. 2 drops of that. And about 4 drops of white. It's getting to where I need to order more white from Reaper. And I put 2 drops of my water in there. And I'm going to mix it up and see how light it is if I want to go lighter. I can always start with kind of this light teal color and see how light it is. Oh, thanks, Masara. Yay, another sub. So now we're only 5 away, I think. Yeah, we're only 5 away. So we're at 30 subs out of 35. And if we get 35, then we can open up a new emote slot. And I think my artist that I hired is supposed to have my emotes ready on the 17th. So if we can do it by then, awesome. And then I need to see how many more subs we need for the next emote slot. We have to decide what emote slot we're going to open. Like, I asked for one that's a raid design, and I also asked for Happy Kiri face. And I think that our first emote needs to be the Happy Kiri face. So we'll see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm doing the design down here, so freehand, and that's the first part of doing tattoos, right? Is doing the freehand. After that, it's just glazing racks. Like, choose an ink color that makes sense, but you usually want to do it very thinned, so that you can get very precise lines. And maybe that it's a little bit see through. That's fine. But then you glaze over the top of it with skin color. And I did a Patreon video on this. Yeah, definitely happy Kiri. That's what I figured, Image. All right, so when you are mapping out freehand. Now, the nice thing about this is since I painted this in black, I can pretty much muck up my design as much as I want because I can always go in with the black to correct it. So that means it's no stress. You can work on this sort of thing for as long as you want. You can up. What do we got? Oh, we have a following. Hello, NG MNS MG1. We'll call you NG. Hi, I'm Anne. I work for Reaper Miniatures. If you're not familiar with me, I do Reaper's stream in the morning, and then sometimes on Tuesdays and Wednesdays I do my own stream. And so today we're doing some freehand. I'm just mixing up some of my black in case I have to do touch-ups, because inevitably I'll have to do touch-ups. It is the nature of freehand that it does not go down perfectly the first time. And what I'm trying to do is to replicate his dragon tattoo on his chest down here on his base, so that it's not just a plain black base, and we have some decoration that makes sense for the character. So this is the Dark Elf bust. Oops, let me get his pillow out of the way. This is the elf bust from Hera Models. It's an academic bust. So essentially he's sculpted to be a good practice bust. He's nice and simple. I decided I really wanted to make him a dark elf, so I made him kind of the front of him in light, the back of him in shadow, and the dragon's tail is actually back there, you can see. And then I gave him the red eyes and everything, so, and decided that his chest was perfect for a tattoo. So I'll be putting this up for sale for my patrons when he's done on my Patreon. So we'll give him his pillow back there and move it out of the frame so that we can see this. We mixed up some of a tealish color, and I need to look at this design. So when you're trying to duplicate a freehand design, or take a design and turn it into freehand and duplicate it, it helps to break it down into shapes, into obvious shapes. Now I did this all in kind of separate little pieces, right? It's all the dragon is all divided up. But probably the logical place to start with it is going to be these two strips around the eye, because those are big blocks. They're pretty, pretty straightforward. You just have to make sure to put the eye between them, and everything else can be worked off of them. So since the eye, oh, thank you, Otter Mama. Now we're 4 subs away. 4 subs away from a happy Kiri emote. Awesome. We're getting so close. I'm so happy. No, I actually don't, Tistor. I mean, you could do that if you wanted to paint a big dragon, but I wanted to, I kind of wanted to go slow on this. I was looking for a very spiky, angry look, and so I kind of just did it piece by piece to create the image I want. I actually did this first as a drawing on a piece of paper, or a painting. I mocked it out in paint on a piece of paper. Oh, thanks, 3 to me. Thank you for the follow. For those who don't know me, I am Anne. I work for Reaper Miniatures, and I also do my own stream here on Painting Big. I also have my Patreon, which is patreon.com/paintingbig. And I do a lot of high-end painting. I am an international award winner. I'm a Golden Demon winner. I've won a bunch of stuff. But now, of course, the COVID has canceled our conventions, and I can't compete. So here I am on Twitch. But yeah, I just started. I'm a Twitch newbie as far as broadcasting on my own. So please, I don't even have a Nightbot yet. That's how new I am. But it's on my to-do list. I swear it is. All right. So yeah, you could. Okay. So in answer to the question, yes, you could absolutely just draw a dragon and then kind of split it up into pieces. But I wanted to kind of work it organically and really just kind of, I don't know, it's easier for me kind of to do the shapes as I see them and make them link together. Yes, 1 more sub. So now we need, I think, 4 to get our first emote, I believe. So we've been progressing quite nicely. So all right, let's start. Let's jump in, and don't be afraid to jump in with freehand. I mean, it's a little more nerve-wracking, right, when you're trying to do a tattoo over skin tones that you've already painted. So I almost advise you to do some practice on just like, I even like to use just like a plate, a cardboard plate that I've primed. Like you could use that, or a piece of paper, like heavy paper that you prime, or just use paper. Although it is sometimes, some people will say that it maybe is a little easier if you do prime the paper, because then you're working over the actual surface you're going to be working on, you know, when you paint the miniature. And it is a different finish. So if you think that's going to throw you off, then use something that's already primed. You could even, if you have a bunch of models around with big cloaks that you're that you don't really like, you could always just sacrifice those models to practice for freehand as well. So all right, these two areas, and since the dragon is kind of up and on the left, down here we're going to go up and on the right. So let's just go for it. So boom and boom. So that's the top of the eye. And then I need kind of a bottom of the eye. So I need to kind of do, if I can just get the eye down. And for some reason I have always started like this when I do animals. I always start with the eye and I work out from there. I think because it's so easy to work the, like from the eyes, you can work down to the bridge of the nose and you can work back to the ear, and it makes kind of sense. So now I'm looking at the shape that I did up there. So I kind of did a upward shape. Now, when you get this, where the paint isn't coming off your brush very well, and I'm going to actually get closer so you guys can really see. That means you've got not enough water in your paint. If you're like me, if you're working with a very thin brush, you're going to run into this. When you've got a brush with a super fine tip, if you find that your paint doesn't want to come off of it, put more water in your paint. Hey Dabber, it's good to see you. Hey David Weir, we got peeps. It's a raccoon sighting. Fantastic. So yeah, we're duplicating our freehand, or as close as we can. It's unlikely we'll be able to duplicate it precisely, but it should actually work. And the reason that I'm alternating the direction that the dragon is looking in is that it actually helps make a more dynamic piece in the end. If I had both dragons facing the same way, that would be kind of monotonous, but shifting it up and making one facing the other way is a more exciting visually and more interesting visually. So I gotta make kind of a top area here. And remember, I'm keeping my pure black mixed up. If I need to go in and touch up anything or correct anything, it's easy. So just relax and go. He needs a raccoon tattoo. This dark elf is not of the house of the raccoon, I'm afraid. If we're gonna do a raccoon tattoo, we'll have to go somewhere else. We'll have to get a different model. Probably a druid, right? A druid would totally have a raccoon tattoo. Even better, maybe the tattoo comes to life. And that's actually the druid's familiar. That would be cool. Somebody needs to make that character. Oh, yep, see, getting a little fuzzy again. Feeling like I need a little more water. And a little flow improver, a little extra flow improver never hurts, guys, either, when you're doing freehand. I mean, Reaper Master Series paint has flow improver added to it already. But when you're doing thin lines, if you find that you're getting frustrated with the paint coming off of your brush, especially on a textured surface like this, because this wood is textured. So let's see here. So I've got to look up here and say, okay, I cut this off. I do want to make sure I've got enough, though. I want enough of a dip. So maybe I need to add more to the top of his head. Because you see he's got the dip going down to the muzzle, and I don't have much of that here. So if I'm going to do that, I almost need to carry this up a little higher and thicken this area to make it taller, and then have it cut down. Now we can like put in that first top of the muzzle piece, that first wrinkle. Right? And we can sketch that in. So we're just going to start building piece by piece. It's like puzzle pieces. And you're trying to keep in mind like how big the puzzle pieces should be relative to each other and in what position they should be. So I do need to thicken the bottom here of this eye as well. And I need to look there. So he kind of goes back, and it kind of splits out in kind of a fin shape, because I'm working the first spike, the horn, off of that. So I need this little socket to put the horn into. So that makes sense. And that's kind of how I built this freehand design anyway. Is, you know, kind of going piece by piece like this. There we go. Let me see. So yeah, he does have a little bit of a dent here, a kind of an angle right there, because that's where the cheekbone comes up. So it really is like a puzzle if you think of it this way. So here then is going to be this little kind of it's not a pentagram. Well, it is almost a pentagram shaped there. That's his cheek. So that's going to come up. It's going to come back. Again, I've got little paint on my brush. And it doesn't go back quite as long as the actual segment above it. And then it comes back and down and kind of like, it actually is more diamond than that. More like that. So we're just trying to look at our shapes, get them roughly correct. And remember, we can always touch up. What we're trying to do is block this in. See if it works. So, okay, I've got 2 little wrinkles on his snout. Snout wrinkles are very important. Want to be very precise about our snout wrinkles. There. And then he's got his little nostril section. And his little beak, really, that comes out like this. All right, and see the dragon's face starting to take shape, right? So that's working. That's working very well. And let's see here. I do have to separate out these little nostril spaces a bit, but first I want to kind of look at, I've got 4 little spaces there, and then the piece that goes under the eye. So this little piece, and I don't have to be exact on this. Let's see. But this little piece, like, this is really supposed to come down further, I see now. And this little piece goes along with it, like so. Because we're looking at this area right up here. And we don't need to be, like, perfect. We just need to be close. I think I'm looking at where this is. Those don't start. I think I went a little bit. I should have gone a little bit further back with this, but that's all right. It just means this is a much smaller piece in this dragon than it is in that dragon. And, thank you, Nick's Love, for following. We are doing, we're trying to duplicate, roughly, this dragon freehand onto the base of the Dark Elf. That is what we're trying to do. If you have any questions, ask in chat. I do look at chat a lot. I try to do. Try to look at chat a lot. I'm working with a Secret Weapon Miniatures paint color, tire rubber, mixed with pure white from Reaper Miniatures Master Series paint line to block this in, because it's kind of the same color I used for his hair. The model's kind of in light and shadow. And he's the Hera Models elf bust, and I chose to paint him as a dark elf, because why not? Why wouldn't you? I also really like painting dark skin tones, so it's something I do. All right, let's make sure we're in frame and in focus. Oh, cool, Nix. Well, thanks. I'm glad that you really like what I do. Thank you. Oh, you're the one with the resin. Awesome. Thanks for answering questions the other day. I really appreciate it. Yeah, my other half, my significant other, David, he's the one who's much more experienced with resin pouring than I am. Thank you, Jetta. Yeah, it's always good to have extra people in the chat who have all sorts of experience with different materials. It's always good. All right, so now I need to kind of look here. I need to fill in a lot of the dragon's beak and leave his little nostril. I definitely went bigger with the beak this time than I did up there, but that, again, that's okay. That just buys us a little room. Now here is where I might do, like, all of these little sections, like right here up at the upper, kind of the upper lip, so to speak, where it's got all those little segments. That is an area where I might just draw it in as a bar to make sure I have the shape right, and then break it up with black. In fact, that's probably the smartest thing to do, just to make sure you get that area correct, right? That it looks right. So let me see here, Mr. Dark Elf, because we want the upper part of the mouth to kind of go like that. So let's put that in, and then we can come back and divide it up. Since our base is black behind this, It's very easy to draw in those lines. So we want to make this nice and solid. I'll probably have to go over it a little bit. I'm also thinking about highlighting this with a little bit of white here and there, the dragon. I don't want to draw too much attention away from the bust, though, so you gotta be careful about that. You really want the bust to be the point, and this to just be an extra bit of icing on the cake. Excellent, excellent, excellent. We're going to block in his cheek at this time, and if I feel like I want to refine it, I will. So we've got that big blocky cheek shape in. It's maybe a little bit bigger on this dragon than it is on that dragon. Inevitably, you're going to get a little bit of difference. Now, one thing we do need, though, is we need his little bottom jaw to come out of this. So, because there's a little segment that comes out. And I'm going to reshape that cheek. Because I got very, it's all about the angles. I got very, very fudgy on that cheek. So I need to kind of really look at what I've got here. So what I have is, I have a straight angle here going down to there. And then I should have kind of a back angle here. So I need to fix that little start of that lower jaw. Because this angry growly line needs to go down like that. So we want it to be angry and growly. We also may need to make our dragon a little bit growlier. He's, there we go. So if we essentially make him a little squintier and we make a definite downturn to his eye, he looks a lot groufier. The other way to make a dragon look angrier in profile is to make that top of that lid come down a little bit more squintier and build up kind of a muscle bunch here. So it looks like he's definitely like narrowing his eyes because he's unhappy. So he's more of a growly dragon that way. I gotta block in all that stuff. I gotta fill in this. So we're progressing. We've had to do a correction or two, but we are progressing. So there we go. There's the start of the lower jaw. So we're doing all right here. We're not doing badly. We do need to separate out some of these little areas. Hey, Daffodweir. And everybody, Anki. Hi, Anki. Thanks for tuning in. Alrighty. So let's see here. And I also have that little band of muscle or membrane that comes down and links those two areas as well. So I think I need my mouth a little bit more open, maybe? Yeah, I think I do. Angry dragons are roary dragons. This dragon's not roaring enough. Needs to roar more. That's a little better. Yeah, I want to make him more angry. More angry. More angry dragon. Not a nice dragon. Very upset. He's had some nasty adventurers messing with his treasure. Now let's bring in our little segments here. Maybe trim up his muzzle a little bit and make it a little shorter like it is in the tattoo. There we go. Rawr. We can decide whether to fix that. Go put that back in a bit. I think he does need a little bit more of a beak, but we'll see. So let's see here. And I've been drawing dragons for a very long time, you guys. Like when I was in grade school, I drew dragons and unicorns and dogs. That was it. And so I was always sketching dragons or unicorns or dogs. So those are the things that horses and dogs and dragons are the things that I feel like I can always draw. So doing freehand it like this, I won't say it's not hard. It's exacting, but it, at least the basic design is something I've been drawing for a very long time. All right, so now we get to a more complicated area here where I've got like two horns coming out here on the bottom of this cheek area. And it looks like I need a little bit more cheek. I need more cheek. Oh boy, nobody would ever say that of me. There we go. And so that way I can lock that horn in. The other horn is coming off of the bottom of this, and then the lower jaw really comes out. You see how that all goes together there? So let's try to do that. It really is like a puzzle. It's kind of fun, actually, trying to analyze the design. So the other day, thanks to Rohan on my Patreon, who is Sentimental Minis. Let me see. I'm just trying to figure out how I'm doing this. I think it goes back. So, but he recommended the Celtic Knotwork book on my Discord, my Patreon Discord, and it's how to do, like, it's an actual textbook on how to do Celtic Knotwork. And so now all bets are off, guys. I'm gonna be throwing myself into that, and I'll do some crazy Celtic Knotwork piece. Because, you know, you gotta, why not? And now I got a second horn here. That one's going more toward the front. Got two spiky little horns, one pointed back and one pointed front, like those. And then the bulk of the lower jaw comes up from that. I still need to put my membrane in. I'm still not sure on this part. I still feel like maybe this jaw needs to be... We'll see. Because part of what we're doing isn't necessarily duplicating muscles or anything. We're just trying to make an interesting design. So I have to correct that a little bit, but let's see here. And so this is that, and I need it to come out to around here, and I need it to come down into a chin, and then I need it to come back and kind of have a little bit of a bump and then go up here, and I need that horn to come down a lot more. Now I can see that it needs to come down more like that. And that's a little bit too wide, so I'm going to have to adjust that. All right, so what I need here is more angle. I've gotten a little wide here, and I've gotten the wrong angle, so we'll touch it up. When you're trying to do this sort of persnickety thing. Not even to save your life. I've always drawn since I was little. I've been trying to draw. When I was in kindergarten, we went to the circus and we all had to draw stuff we saw at the circus, like all the little kids had to. And I clearly remember at the parent-teacher conference where the teacher showed my mom that I had drawn tigers, and she just had this tone in her voice. She's like, and they look like tigers. And it was funny, but it impressed on me as a young age that I could draw animals really well, enough to impress my kindergarten teacher, and so I should keep up with it. So yeah, I've been drawing animals for a very long time. They were always my favorite subjects anyway. So dragons were just a cooler kind of animal. All right, so how am I going to do this? Let me see what I did up there. Up there I had it interlocking, so very nice. And here I feel like I haven't quite extended this enough. And then once I do that, I should be able to draw a line down and interlock it. Oh, and I'm back. Yes, I am. I am here. I am trying to replicate my dragon tattoo down here on the base. With some success and some fails, and it's all been very instructive. So I'm going to try and lock this together better. Yeah, thanks for coming out and watching, you guys. All right, so I need some black because I need to fix the part that I just spotted that I screwed up, which is that really this spike does have to connect up to this long piece. If you look at it, it does, just barely. And then that right there, there's a straight and then an angle. So there needs to be a straight line here between these two horns. And then this second horn really comes out straight from that, and then it angles forward. So I've got to do that. And then once I do that, I should be able to connect these. Oh, Jay, thanks for the subscription. Awesome. Now we only need 3. We're working up toward a Kiri emote. Oh my gosh. And Numbat with the huge amounts of gift subs. We have now made it. Thank you. Thank you, guys. That's fantastic. Numbat, you're just like the champ. You're amazing lately with all the gift subs. Everybody must be so happy. Like, everybody be Numbat's friend because he's amazing. Thank you. Yes, Greymail and Tister and Mike and Jay and Sethany and Ramir, you all are now subbed to my channel. Haha! Thank that Numbat guy. He's awesome. Yep. And Zombie George loves you all. Alrighty, so let's see. I have to fix my little mouth here. I am unhappy with my mouth. With the mouth of my dragon. But yes. Yay, happy. Oh, wow. Happy little... That's fantastic. Thanks for the cheer, too. Awesome. Yes. Wow, so much stuff. So much stuff, so many happy little chime noises. I love them. All right, we gotta block in that again. And I want to just look at this like in relationship to that. Yes, I love the cheer. It's so cute. But I wonder where I need to look up hype trains. Because we got a hype train yesterday. We're not getting a hype train today, and I want to know why. Because we should be after that. And I wonder, it couldn't be anything. I didn't change any settings. So I'll have to look it up. I wonder if you can only have a hype train every once in a while. That would seem silly, though. You'd think Twitch would want you to have as much hype as possible. Alright, now I need to correct the mouth. The mouth is not making me happy. It's too rectangular in this area, so I want it to be open and down a little bit more. So happily, our black paint covers really well, and we can cover that up. And I also want to get that angry tendon line in, the one that's right here, because that's a large part of also making the angry face. So let's grab some of our light color and put in that angry tendon. Angry, angry, angry right there. I do want to keep it separate, but I need it to suggest that it's actually there. So there. Alright, so let's grab some black and refine that. This is why it's good to just work in two colors when you can. When I mock in freehand, usually on like a cape or whatever, I'm using pure white. Oh, that lost a little bit of my line above there. And usually I just work with white and black or white and purple, whatever my ground color is for the freehand plus white, and just map it out first, then worry about colors. Once you've got the freehand mapped in, it's a lot easier to go from there because you don't have to worry about placement of the lines. There we go. We're correcting that a little bit. Using my Raphael today, my 8408 Raphael Kolinsky sable brush to get some stuff. Oh yeah, Jed Rose. Well, if it's anybody who's usually gifting subs, I'm sure that you will run into them on one show or another. Awesome. There we go. All right, that's a little bit better. I want that to go push back just a tad. There we go. All right, now I'm liking it a little better. Now I need to bring his chin back out. Didn't quite cover that up though. There. All right, now we're progressing. But yes, thank you for everybody for gifting subs and being happy and generally helping out my baby stream. My new little baby stream. It makes me so happy. Awesome. Alrighty. So now I gotta look again at that, and I want the angle. I do kind of want it to extend like this, but at a slightly more open. Like that, maybe. That's looking maybe a little bit better. And it has to go back underneath this area here and kind of connect up, but not go all the way around that horn. Expressions and mouths can be sometimes the hardest thing to get to nail on a dragon, I find. I'm getting that horn in here before I forget. And I want thin. And we're just going to do it as much as we can. And we got just a little bit of a peak there, and then a little bit more of a peak, and then it goes back. So, like so, like so. We'll block that in and see. Sometimes you just gotta jump in, block it in, and say, well, is that about right? It's close. It's close. Oh, Giggling Geekette, hello! Thanks for the follow. Yeah, this is my personal private stream, other than the Reaper stream. I decided to, I always kind of wanted one for my Patreon, just for, you know, to do for my patrons, if nothing else. And, but we had a canceled Reaper stream the other day, and so I figured I would actually get affiliate. So I pushed, and we got affiliate, so I'm super happy now. And, probably we'll try to do this like twice a week, every week. We'll try it. I don't want to like exhaust myself, and I still need to have time for my Patreon stuff and commissions and everything, but sometimes it's nice to just get on and hang out with peeps and work on whatever I'm working on. So this was something that was on my list to get done soon because I want to put this model up for sale. So this is a good excuse. Oh, thank you, damn it, Daniel. Welcome. Hi. Re-hi. I am working on Dragon. So some of this is just, some of these lines are just purely for design elements rather than physical elements of the dragon as far as anatomy goes. Just trying to make it a little more interesting. Do slight corrections. Okay, I kind of liking where this is going now. Now I might need to make that a little thinner though. I'm thinking I do, but I want to do some teeth. We definitely have to do his upper and lower teeth. We do not want our dragon to be toothless. We are not impinging on Disney IP, Pixar, Disney, whatever, whoever did How to Train Your Dragon. We are totally not doing that. For one thing, this is not a very, very chibi dragon. It's not very cute. So one little tooth at the top, and then he needs another corresponding little tooth at the bottom. This is where it's really important to have your paint consistency right and to have a brush with a very good tip. To have enough paint on your brush so that you can get those little details. And the bottom tooth should be a little bit more inward than the upper tooth so that he has a nice scissors bite. he might be a little overshot here. I don't know. We'd have to close his mouth and find out. It's part of my dog show confirmation background there. DreamWorks. Oh, okay. I like DreamWorks. I definitely wouldn't want to steal their IP. I approve of them. Hey, thanks, Parm. Thanks for the follow. We are doing freehand. We're trying to kind of duplicate this dragon head down onto the base here so that he has some decoration on his little plinth. Because, I mean, sometimes you want just a... Hey, Drop, thanks for the follow. Dropo. Because sometimes you just want, you know, like a black plinth on your model, and other times you're just like, black plinths are kind of boring. Maybe we should do something else. So there. And I made that more angular because if you want a dragon to look more evil, give it more angular features. The more angles and sharp horns and just angular features that you've got, less soft, less rounded, the more wicked your dragon will look. That's partially why Mr. Dragon up here has all of his spikes. Just to make him more, a little more vicious. So I'm pretty happy with this now, guys. This is starting to come together. Like, it's not exactly the same, but it's going to be close enough so that it'll work, right? So that you look at the tattoo and you'll look at the dragon head on the base. I probably won't do all the wing now that I'm looking at this. I'll probably do the spikes and I'll do some of the neck. I want it to be kind of centered on here, so I'll go with whatever gives me a nice centered design on the middle of this plinth. And then we'll bulk it out that way. I probably won't get to the wing that way, but that's all right. We've got the wing. You can extrapolate it. You know that this dragon has wings. Oh, thanks, Darklore. Thanks for the follow. Alrighty, so what do I want to do next? I want to do horns, I think. Let's do horns and start working on the area behind the head. I've got kind of a big area here that's all one thing. Or actually it's not. I guess it is 3 diamonds, but the skin tone is really dark down the middle of the chest, so that's why it's not showing up as much. Alright, so let's work with that. And let's get that horn in. The horn that comes out between those two things at the back of the head. So he does have a horn coming out of here. So like that. And my paint is getting a little bit thick again. Whenever it doesn't want to come off the brush, always add a little water. And make sure your paint is nice and fluid for freehand. You do not want sticky, thicker paint. You might think you want sticky, thicker paint, but you really don't. Yeah, this is a very spiky dragon. Because I wanted him evil. I also wanted to make his nose a little bit more spiky here. Spiky is wicked. There we go. And a little bit more of a beak. There we go. The spikier we make him, the angrier and hungrier he will look. There we go. See? Spikier. Yeah, exactly. Harmony with the hair, exactly. Because you've got some definite, like, you've got that tone right up there. And I hadn't used it. I mean, it's got a very dark version. I used a very dark version of it for the dragon itself. But that's so dark, and since it's glazed over with the skin tone, you lose a lot of it. So yeah, then this repeats. And I'll highlight it with a little bit of white, but I don't want it to really seriously distract from his face. So yeah, but that's the reason, Kaz. You're right. You're dead on there. Because he is a pretty monochromatic piece, so you've got some limits as to what you could do. I could have done it in gold, possibly, or although all of his jewelry, he's only got some earrings, and I did them in silver and MM. So you kind of gotta. I like harmonious colors. I like limited color palettes. So for me, it was a logical choice to use this color down here. And it also means that it's a little more visually interesting than just white, right? I need to make sure I keep under the camera here. I think I'm going to do the horns on the top of the head too. And he does have a little spiky horn on the tip of his little snoodle. Snoodle being what we call Kiri's snoot. There we go. And then these are kind of the dangerous little spikes where you want them to be fine and to make sense, but you don't want to overdo it. But we can always fine tune them, right? So we've got two little spikes, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bigger spikes going up the top of the head on this one piece. And it's like two spikes before the, one spike before the tip of the eye, and then another spike right on top. So like a spike here. And we'll just kind of block them in. And again, be pretty fearless about this because, you know, we can always just take our black and touch it up. That's why doing freehand over just one base color, or when you do the freehand for something on like a cloak, I went a little high on that, I'll have to touch it up. But when you do like freehand on, say I do a purple cloak and I decide I'm going to do freehand on it, I will put a layer of shadow and a layer of highlight onto the cloak. I'll have like 3 levels of shading and highlighting on the cloak before I do the freehand, but I won't put everything onto the cloak. I won't put all the highlights on the cloak. For one thing, once I do a nice shading and highlighting job on the cloak, I get really reluctant to screw it up with freehand. But for another thing, I want it to be simple to touch up around my design. So I want to always be dealing with as simple a background color as I can, so that when I do inevitably need to come in and touch it up, I can very easily. So yeah. All right, gonna get my black here, fix that little bit of stuff I have coming off of there, tighten this up. Because yeah, using your ground color to come back and tighten up details like this is very gratifying, because then you can, you know, you look at it and you're like, oh man, that's so loose, and then you come and you tighten some stuff up and it starts to look really edgy and cool, and you're like, oh yeah, this is working. So, and you can go back and forth. If you trim up a little bit too much and get your black spaces become a little bit too big, you can always come back and touch it up again. Right now I like how he's looking. It's really looking like kind of heavy metal. I think I kind of like him. All right, cool. So more spikes. There we go. We'll fill in the spike up here. The horn. We have, I feel like I need more paint on my brush here. Wood is absorbent as a surface, even though I did paint a layer of paint over the top of it. So I feel sometimes like the tooth is affecting me a bit. Let's see. Okay, so that's a pretty thin spike, and it doesn't go up really huge either. We've got one, then we got really long spike is next. So really long spike, other spike, and last spike. So kind of like that. So I'm going to just kind of like do those little placeholder streaks to make sure that I'm spacing them out right. Then I'll come in, if I think the angles are right, and I think they are, then I come back in and widen them out. That one a little bit thinner, I think. Make this one come down a little closer to the head. Just kind of touching it up. so happy it's Wednesday already. This is a pretty good Wednesday. I've been fairly productive today. I had to reshoot a video for my Patreon, and that was getting me down kind of, but I reshot it, and I think it's better than it was, so that result, that makes me happier. I carried these spikes back a little. I'm looking up here. I carried these spikes on the head back a little bit longer than they are up here, but that's because we've got the collarbone area here, and so that makes it very hard to do any details, right? There's all this sculpted detail there. So I kind of had to plan my dragon head design around that a little bit, but if I can make it my spikes a little bit back further here. Hey, Abel. Thank you. Thank you for the follow. I'm Ann. I work for Reaper Miniatures. Most of the time I Twitch for them in the mornings. And I do my own stream on the side every once in a while. So, welcome to the gang if you don't know me. I'll probably be streaming like this on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. This stream is really for my own personal projects, so I'm likely to be doing a higher level of painting on them than I will be doing necessarily on the Reaper stream, which is more of an educational painting stream. And I'm also going to be working on like stuff that I'm actually like finishing for competition. The piece that I started out doing on this stream is actually a big 54mm diorama base piece, and I will be going back to her, never fear. I was just like, I really have wanted to get this guy done, so I'm like, I want to work on him today. This will be the Ann Feels Like Working on Random Model Day, but it means you guys get to see me work on like the good stuff that I really like and I'm enjoying. And a lot of busts, probably, and large models, because that's what I really like. I'm kind of thinking that one of these days we'll take it over to the gaming side, and I'll paint start on my next Overwatch statue. I want to start on Tracer. So if we do that, we'll stream it. We won't stream under art, we'll stream under Overwatch, and see what kind of weirdness stumbles into our chat. Although the Overwatch community is actually pretty awesome, so... but it would be fun. I always kind of wanted to do that, so we might do that. Yes, I'll do Tracer. I'm gonna keep the base pretty simple, like this Liquid Nebula. I am gonna put more of a coating over it. I'm gonna put like a satin over it to shiny it up a little bit. I'm gonna put another layer of the black on before I do that, and then on the back I'm gonna sign it. And put, Hera Models elf bust and sign give it my little signature and the year that I did it in, which is how I sign my pieces. But yeah, I want to do Tracer. I've got her prepped. I dull coated. I masked off all of the shinies and I dull coated her, which is my prep for those models. And so I really want to get to Tracer. So yeah, we may maybe as early as next week. We'll see. But I do want to work on Tracer. And do a repaint on her like I did on my Soldier 76. So pretty much, I thought about making her like a team skin or one of her established skins, but decided I'm not quite advanced enough with the statue painting to want to do a big conversion or anything yet. And those stoneware statues would be really hard to convert. Like, if you can't really do subtractive without breaking stuff. You have to do additive. So... for now, we're going to actually repaint her. I took pictures when I was at BlizzCon the year before last. They have the life-size Tracer statue there, which actually has the actual like material leggings and the jacket and everything. So I took photos of it so I could get the actual textures down, because I thought the jacket was leather, but actually it's suede. So it'd be a totally different texture. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, she's a cool statue. I mean, any statue painting is like painting busts, so it's just a video game subject instead of anything else. So I thought it would be kind of cool to cross over like that, since I'm also a member of the Overwatch community, since I do watch Twitch streamers and Overwatch League on it. So all right, so now we've got our top spikes, and we're almost set. Like, we really just need to figure out the triangles back here. So there's one triangle. And again, they kind of got a little mucky up on our original tattoo dragon, because there's a shadow. The skin shadow is so dark there because he's a dark-skinned elf. But essentially, we've got two big diamonds that come out from these two areas. So we've got a big diamond that comes out from here and a big diamond that comes out from here. And then they both go back, and we both want them to turn into big triangular scales, so we make them kind of a diamond shape, pointy. Can block them in because we can always refine them later. And then we do another one here, and it's at slightly different angle. And it's pretty wide. It's almost a square. Like, I almost took it down and made it... That's about right. I'm doing it more triangular. It actually is a square on the first one, kind of like this one is. Ah, oh no, a blorf. We made a blorf. We will now touch it up. Hey, sibling. Popping up, sneaking in. I see you. Yeah, we're doing Dragon Freehand today because fun. But yeah, I mean, I thought about maybe doing a little bit more, like maybe I'll do little curlicues in the corners. That would be cute and fun. It would finish it up a little bit. Every once in a while you want just a black plinth for a bust, but I tend to think they look kind of boring, so I'd like to dress them up a little bit. Black was definitely the answer for this guy, though, since his skin color is so complicated and odd and muted. His color scheme is interesting, so a lot of plinths that I looked at were too vividly colored to go with his skin tone, which is why I went for the black that I normally don't do so much. All right, that's good. That's good. So what we'll end up doing is probably an extra layer of scales in here. Well, I'm okay with this. I want to kind of make it a little scallopy, I think. A little curved to suggest a more organic form. I'll do that with that one too. So that makes it look a little bit like big plates coming off the back of the head, which I like. And then there's a plate in the middle and another plate up here. So once you've got your dragon scales started, they're very easy. It's overlapping triangles and diamonds, actually. So we can put a diamond in here. Kind of map it in this way. And again, I'm gonna kind of go a curved, kind of like almost like a claw shape. And then up here, it'll be similar. And the key is to have them kind of get close to connecting here so that you can set up another layer. And then I didn't go down under there. I may actually depart from my original design and put another little claw down here. Maybe even another one. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll just do that. I want to have something down there. There we go. He's looking pretty cool. This is a cool looking dragon head, guys. I'm pretty happy with this. This is metal. He needs to be he needs to be like Deathwing or, you know, like a mechanical dragon or something with all of its little parts bolted together. Oh, cool. Liquid Nebula. Yeah. Yeah, I love... Soldier was one of my favorite characters. Still is one of my favorite characters. I'm sad he's never meta, although we have seen a little bit of him in Overwatch League lately. I am a huge Overwatch League fanatic. I watch a lot of it. I have dragged David into it. He humors me and watches it with me now. In addition to playing Overwatch with me. This is why he's an awesome boyfriend. Well, one of many reasons. But yeah, Tracer's been the second one. I told myself that I can't buy another Overwatch statue, until I paint another one. So I've been wanting that Hanzo for a while, but I have not bought it. So if I start my Tracer, then, you know, I'll have an incentive to work on her. It would also mean that by next year's ReaperCon, I might actually be done with her, and then I can enter another Overwatch statue into ReaperCon. And in this way, I will slowly repaint all of my Overwatch statues, except for Diva, who is so cool by herself that I would not repaint her. I want to repaint the pilot, but that's about the extent of what I would do to Diva. Because the mech just looks great on her. I don't feel the need to paint her over. The other thing we have is both David and I own the Sylvanas statue from WoW. And he's started repainting his, actually. I have not. Mine is in the closet. There are a few that I haven't pulled out. because we don't have a lot of room for statues in our tiny apartment. And I do have a bit of a collection, shall we say. So after the tracer, I'll have to think about... It would be fun to get the Hanzo statue and to really go into like cloth textures on him, like silks and satins and stuff with embroidery. That would be cool. So that would be, yeah, the struggle is real. No joke. Oh, Junkrat, okay. You mean Junkrat, Lucio, Diva, and Torb. Awesome. Yeah, David plays, he plays tank a lot when we play, because I'm a support through and through. Like, I play with DPS, but I feel like I can't frag enough to really make a difference on DPS. So I mostly main, lately, Baptiste a lot more. I was a Mercy main for a very, very long time, but I really like Bap's kit. So I do Mercy, Bap, and Lucio, and I played with Moira, but she's not really my style. Margrita's too much of a frontliner for me, so maybe I'll play with Anna a bit. DPS, I like Soldier. Yeah, the Hanzo would be epic. Yeah, it would be so much fun to paint him. I mean, the tattoos are already awesome, right? And I could paint over those tattoos and make them look even better. That's the sad thing, right? It's like, ooh, I could do that and make it look even cooler. So yeah, there's that. I'll have to think about... Yeah, Moira's a weird one. David can play her. Like, he frags on her. And I just can't. I was just like... Yeah, original Mercy was pretty crazy with the multi-res. All right, so we've almost got a nice centered design. We just need a little bit more scale work, and we did a pretty good job. It's okay that we're a little high, because, you know, if you want to be off center in any way, you want to be up more than you want to be down, right? You don't want the head to be dropping too low. So this is a pretty good positioning for our dragon head. And really we just need just a little bit more, because it's about there, so we need to go out to about here. That's maybe 1 or 2 more layers of scales. And then we'll have a really nice like dragon head, and we can put maybe some little designs in the corners. I'll have to think about what I want to do. Maybe like little claws or something based on that. Oh yeah, I've played Bastion. I can play Bastion. It's okay. And who cannot play Bastion, really? He's an easier hero. And I love the Sandcastle Bastion that's right now for the event. But yeah, so maybe you guys might see me paint some Overwatch statue. All right, so let's do our next layer of scales. Bring this out, make our scales maybe a little flatter now. We're starting to get out onto the neck more. Kind of, remember, again, when your paint starts breaking up, it means you either don't have enough on your brush or you don't have enough water in your paint. And since, you know, I have the AC on in this room, it is evaporating pretty quick. It's also a pretty warm day outside. So kind of adjust that. But yeah, so we're getting there. We're almost to the point. I think one more, if I even take a top scale out a little bit further, I think we might be okay. We'll see. I want to make sure this looks nice and centered at the end. That's the nice thing about trailing off into a scale pattern, right? Is that you have, oh, and I need more spikes. That's right. He's got more spikes on his neck. So I have to do those. Okay, so actually then, spike. Let's see. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. Got 3. Yeah, because I'm curving them, it's making me have less of a back line for him. So, yeah, do I want to keep that? Do I want to do one more? We'll see. I'm going to make this scale come out a little bit more so that I have more of a coherent neckline for the dragon. And I'm going to make that scale a little bit longer just to keep that arched neck kind of line going. I may even go a little bit further out, because I want it to look nice. I want it to look good. The crest of the neck should be very pronounced with a big snaky neck. So move it out a little bit like that. Yeah, so good. We have the Sophie hype. Thanks for watching, everybody. I have to say, it's good to hang out with all of you, and it's nice to be getting progress on this. And we are almost done. So I'm getting a little bit of texture showing through from the wood grain under this. One thing I could have done is after I painted this base black, I could have done a gloss over it, just to seal in any texture, and then try to do a dull coat or a black primer spray over the top of that. So it's like live and learn. I haven't done a lot of plinths in the course of my existence because I haven't done a lot of busts for competitions. So it's things that you think about after the fact where you're like, oh yeah, I could have done this and that would have helped this. And, you know, don't be too hard on yourself. Just make a note and do it for your next piece. There we go. So now our dragon's neck is arching nice and back toward where we want it so that it's equidistant from the front and the back. But I'm going to continue to do a couple of scales here. And I want those spikes done too. I might make this horn a little longer. Just a tiny bit. I don't want to get too close to the top. I still want it to be framed, have a nice black frame around it. So, gotta be careful. But yeah, there's a lot of pieces that I'd like to paint for myself, and painting with you guys is kind of an excuse to work on them during the day. So yeah, it's coming. Hi, Traumahawk. Yeah, I'm making the version of the dragon down here. So I figured that'd be a nice decoration for the front of the base. So that it'd be something there. Yeah, he's coming along. So I think I'm going to actually come and do this too. Continue my little horns here. Technically, the dragon can come down in front here and now start doing like chest plates. Right, if I'm going to bring the head down in a more traditional way. Start doing that. Bring in another row of scales. Don't want to go too far down though, remember. So got to keep an eye on what looks good. And this outer one always has to be like the back. So I have to remember to keep my angle right for that to look like the back of the neck. And I think that's about right, guys. So what we've done is we've framed it. We've got a little bit more space maybe in front of the nose than we do back here, and that's good. You should always have a little bit more space in front of the head if you're implying motion. I need to do these spikes and fill these in and probably do just little tiny scales here and there. And then, yeah, that's pretty good. And then I can highlight it a little bit, maybe with some pure white, just to bring out the shapes a little bit more than anything. It's almost like a frost dragon. It's almost a frosty teal blue color that I've done him in. And then, you know, I can go over it and just clean up some lines, make it a little more crisp. That sort of thing. And put my signature on the back and what the model is. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Sweet. He's a grumpy dragon. I like him. I like grumpy dragons. Can't help it. Cannot lie, like grumpy dragons. In fact, I'm going to bring in another plate here for his chest. There. So it really looks like you've got his head kind of curving around. I like that. Super. And then I'm going to shorten this scale a little bit so we just have kind of a jagged bottom ridge here. I do love freehand. I will say that. I absolutely do love doing freehand on things. So you'll probably see quite a bit more of it from me. Back when it was, when you're working for a company, you don't have much time to do that stuff. You really want to get a good paint job on things and then move on to the next thing. Because, you know, you've got things you've got to get done. So it was harder to do big elaborate things, and spending time on something like this would have been right out. But now, I can afford to spend more time on this because not only can I do it on Twitch, I can do freehand on my stream or on my Patreon, and then, you know, I can offer the model for sale afterwards. So it's all that way. This way I can do my top work, spend time on the things that I really enjoy, and still know that I am actually still making enough money to live on in the end, and that I'm not shorting some other productive cycle. That, I think, I need to do those little spikes. That's right. Spikes. Spikes. Tattoo spikes. That actually looks pretty cool. I'm going to zoom out after I get these spikes in and we can take a look at it. I think as it stands, it adds to the model, but it doesn't totally distract from it because of the chest and because of the face. So hold on. Let's get these little spikes on and then back out and see. If at this point, guys, I decided that this distracts from the model up here, what I would do probably is glaze over this with black. I would essentially knock down the lightness of the design to make it more subtle, just as if I was doing a light tattoo over black skin. So do exactly the same thing I did with the chest tattoo. Because again, with the chest tattoo, you want it to have, you know, to draw attention and to be cool, but you don't want to totally distract from the rest of the model. You want the face still to pop. So you always got to kind of ask yourself, you know, what are you really trying to get people to look at? What's the point? Here we go. We'll do another little spike here. Another little spike. Another little spike. Yay, spikes. And then maybe even a little tiny spike. Tiny spike. Just to make the spikes kind of go down into the neck a little bit. There. Tiny, tiny spike. There we go. That looks more natural. I like this. Actually, I like how this is turning out. Fantastic. All right. So I can still go down and make those solid. Let's zoom out. Hello. All right. The dragon is pretty loud, but in person, it's not bad. I think you definitely look at it. You definitely look, like the first thing I look at is I look at the face and then I look at the dragon and then I notice this dragon because this dragon's more faded in. So it actually does carry your eye around the piece, I think. I don't think it's too bad. I will put little something in the corners to just to bring in a little bit of a border around the dragon to make him kind of framed in a little bit nicer. And then, yeah, then we'll put the title of the piece on the back and my name, and then we'll do a satin coat over the top to seal it in, and we'll be all good. So, yay, accomplish something today. I do need to do some touch-ups. I can see a blur right off the top of my head. I can see a blur there right on that cheek. But, yeah. Green stuff and a silk drape on the corners. It's a little late for that, Chibi. When you get, you know it, when you get to the point where the model's almost done, you're super excited and you don't want to add, like, oh, now I'm going to stop and do sculpting. No, I'm just happy that it's nice to finish things, right? It's like Jazzion says on the on my Patreon Discord, is like, you know, sometimes you just got to sit down and finish something, even if it's just a quick job. It feels really good to finish something. So this was not too much of a quick job. This took some time. The skin tones definitely took some time, and the eyes I think I repainted like 4 times. There. Alright. There's dragon looking pretty good. So given this, I don't know that I would actually go in and highlight the dragon with white. I think that might be way too distracting. I think as it is, the dragon's okay. I could see glazing him just to knock him down. I might do that. I can always bring him back up, right? That's the thing, is you have all the power. I painted it the first time. I could totally paint it the second time. So let's put a glaze over him. Let's knock him down a little. I want him to be cool, but I want the face, the dark elf, to be the point. So we're going to just paint a layer of thinned black over the top of this freehand to knock it down. We're going to stop. And the nice thing is everything around it is black, so we don't have to blend anything in when we glaze. That knocks it down just a little bit. I think I want to knock it down again after that dries. Yeah, I think so. No bad. He needed something. He needed this little coat of arms. Yeah, I still think I want to drop it just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. So I'm going to grab a little bit more of my glaze. I think it's all dry. The previous layer is dry. So now I can do another one. And you just want to... This is really thin. Let me show you how thin this, guys, is. This water. It's so thin that you can hardly see it even fall off the side here. Black is really potent. So when you're glazing with it, be very careful. So we'll start, and again, we'll just paint it over the whole thing. There, I think that might be right. I think we're good. I'm gonna let that dry and kind of like figure it out. Yeah, I like it toned down a smidge too, Outer Mama. Yeah, it's when it's not, I don't want it to smack you in the face. I want to... Oh, thanks. Thanks, contingent... Oh, boy. Entremail... Yeah. Contingent remainder. I got it. I had to, like, not look at how the Twitch stream was breaking it up. Thanks for the follow. We're almost at the end of this stream. I just finished painting this freehand dragon. I was trying to duplicate the tattoo that my Dark Elf bust has. So we'll go more down in there. So yeah, so there's our two dragons. And yeah, I'll probably do a little bit of a design here. I'm going to wrap this up pretty quick because my dog needs to be taken out soon. She's actually been very good during the stream considering it's almost her out time. But yeah, so we did freehand on our dragon. We knocked it down a little bit so it's not quite as distracting. I like the level it's at now. A little bit darker. And I think that it's not I think your eyes still go to the figure and you also see this. So yeah, I think that's about right. So what that means then is I'll add a little bit of black to my teal color for doing my little border, whatever I'm going to do, these little corner decorations, probably like 3 little claws. It might be what I do. And we'll just knock it. I'll pre-knock it down by adding a little black to my teal. And that way I don't have to do the glazing. So yeah, that's what we're thinking. All right, guys. I think I'll call it here. I think we got a fair bit done, and I'm a lot more toward. I might finish this up tonight, but I'm a lot closer to having him done, and that's super. So yeah, thank you for coming and keeping me company. I don't know that I'll stream the rest of the week. Reaper, I try not to conflict with Reaper. Reaper's schedule, and usually Thursday and Friday are really heavy Reaper days as far as streams, because of course you've got Reaper Live tomorrow, and then we've got a ton of stuff on Friday. Reaper Land is on, and then like sometimes Bones 5 Live, and then the D&D game that Blackheart Gaming is running with the Reaper artists in it. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Outer Mama. Yeah, pics will be on the Discord when done for sure. But yeah, so probably not now, but I may get to something on Sunday. I usually feel like maybe on Sunday I might stream. We'll see how it goes. No promises, but but as the mood takes me. Thank you guys all for tuning in. All right. I want you all to have a wonderful Wednesday, whatever's left of it. And yeah, for those who are around in the morning hours, I'm going to stream on Reaper Miniatures Twitch tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Central USA time. So we will see you around. Yep, yes, you're welcome, everybody. Have a good day, and I'll see you later. All right, I'm going to go work on my video for the Patreon. Have a good one. I lost my fade. There it is.